Get drunk, get a fight, Gladius, Gladius, everywhere go, everywhere look, Gladius, Gladius, get a drunk, get a fight. Man, hey bro, can I borrow some money? You open my beer, let's get cracking here.
Alright, so my name is Harvey Rob Pierce. I play guitar, and I do backing tracks for the band, bass tracks. And our vocalist is Brent Lucero, Julian. And then our drummer is Clifton, Toby Pierce. And he books our shows. And we have another, well, he's not a member of the band, but he helps us with a lot of band stuff like managing and stuff like that. But, you know, just kind of like behind the scenes when we go to shows and stuff. And that's Sterling Spahey. And
so he's got like a manager?
Yeah, but he's not like standing for the band. But like if we go to do shows, he'll come and, you know, make sure we got water and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And he just does that as a volunteer?
Yeah. Well, he's a promoter.
Yeah.
So whenever we do shows, sometimes he'll come along and he'll get to know the bands that are there. Because we put up, him and I put up shows too. So we get all these bands information. So when we put up a show, we can have bands come out and play.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So that way, you know, when it's dry and there's no shows going on, we put up shows and we'll bring shows, you know, we'll keep the shows going.
Yeah. So who created Decap, and when did you guys start officially? Or tell me the origins. When did it start out?
Okay. So back in high school, this is back, for me, it's back in the 90s. I started a band called Six Bullet.
Six Bullets?
That was going for a long time. And then I had a bunch of ideas because I played like melodic heavy metal. And I had a lot of different ideas that I wanted to try.
When you say melodic metal, let me back up on two things. Did you say your band was called Six Bullets?
Just Six Bullet.
Six Bullets. And then melodic, yeah. What do you mean, like power metal? Or
like a Treyu.
Okay.
Yeah, like that type of music.
Yeah. Okay, got you.
Yeah. So I played a lot of that stuff, but I wanted to go a little bit darker, and I wanted to like get that little bit of black metal mixed with death metal, you know, but kind of like put my own spin on it.
Yeah.
And so for a while there, I didn't have a band, and then I jumped into another band called Fatally Dying Within.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in 2013, 14.
Dang, well, hold on, wait, hold on, let's back up real quick. So in the 90s, you were in a band called Six Bullet.
Yeah.
And then how long were you with that band?
Until 2012.
Oh, okay, all right. I was thinking, shit, you had like 10 years of just kind of roaming in the desert there.
Yeah. Well, I had that band. That I started that band.
Yeah.
And it was the same way. I couldn't get members to commit. There's a lot of. Well, that time I was drinking too, so.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really put anything together, and then I joined the band in 2014. I joined Fatally Dying Within. I was with them for, I'd say, like a year and a half.
That's another native band, or?
Yeah, that was somebody else's band that I hopped in. I just got in to play rhythm.
Okay, but it wasn't a native band.
Yeah, it was a native band.
Oh, okay. From out there in on Apache Res, or where?
Yeah,
okay.
Over here in the Res. They're not around anymore though. But so I got into that band, and then I was at that time I was probably a year sober, and then I realized, well, I need to start my own band because I really didn't like the music I was creating with those guys.
What kind of music was that?
It was like punk metal.
Punk
So,
metal? What is that? Like suicidal?
um,
All right. So when I think of punk metal, I'm thinking of like more of crossover sounds like DRI, Suicidal Tendencies, Cro-Mags, bands like that.
yeah. Uh, let's see. How would I? I guess it had its own sound. It wasn't like any of those bands. Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like it was like Green Day chords with distortion, like way over distortion,
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of metal. And I was doing that pretty cool for a while, but then, like I said, I wanted to do my black metal, death metal thing. So I got out of that band to start another band, and then
How long were you with
started.
them?
What's that?
How long were you with them before you departed?
Like a year and a half.
Year and a half. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I started Decapitation of a New Day, and that was a song like I wrote back in 2003, and it was just based on suicide, on the res, because I had a lot of friends commit suicide, so I used to write songs, and I wrote that song, and that was one of the lyrics. It says a decapitation of a new day, and so I started that band. The band we are in now, and it's just based on just a lot of suicides that were happening.
So explain that to me. Decapitation of a new day. What does that mean to you?
Yeah. So what it means is, so friends that I had who have committed suicide, we all had plans to start this band, and we were gonna like do a whole new thing, like it was all these new ideas, all these music that we were gonna write. So it felt like it was a new idea, a new day, and everything. And then when they committed suicide, it was like it killed all that.
Jeez, yeah.
So when I wrote the song, it was like that's how I felt. I felt like it was a decapitation of a new day. And when I read my lyrics, I was like, hey, and my friend, Brent at the time, he was like, hey, that'd be a cool song or a cool name for a band. So that's when we called the band Decapitation of a New Day.
Well, I'm loving
and a lot
it.
Of,
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the music is about that.
So a lot of the music is about like real life scenarios, suicide, things like that.
Yeah, just a lot of like I don't know. Well, for us, it's like growing up on the res, and dealing with bullies, suicide, alcoholism, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's it's just our own twist on it,
Mm-hmm.
on all that stuff. And then my brother was in Six Bullet with me, the drummer for Six Bullet, and then he was not living in Dulce at the time. He was living in Albuquerque, and he couldn't go tour or play shows because he had to work and pay rent. So I had other drummers. But recently moved back to the res over here. So then when my drummer at the time, he opted out, and he said he couldn't do it no more. So, and my brother took over the drums.
What year is this?
2022.
Okay, so recently, dude, recently.
Yeah. But I've always been jamming with him, like holidays and stuff. We all get together, we play, and I've been playing with my brother since we were kids, since the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Since the 80s.
Yeah.
Bro, how old are you?
I'm pretty old, dude. I was born in the 70s.
Same here. Fuck. Okay. All right. So you've been making music since the 80s. So this tells me that this is why this music sounds so distinct then, because it's not just a one... I hear a lot of bands and they sound like newer bands because they sound like they were influenced by newer bands, as opposed to when I hear. I don't know, dude. I just have like a ear when I hear something. I'm like, what the fuck is this, and where did this come from? And so now that you're telling me you're born in the '70s, I'm like, okay, this makes a lot more sense, because it takes a ear from the '80s, '70s, etc. You know, to because we grew up with this vast array of music, right? And
Yeah.
like there was bands like Iron Maiden. Um, Dude, one of my favorite one of my favorite vocalists of all time. I'm a vocalist, so I always lean towards the vocalist kind of stuff. I play guitar and that kind of stuff, but I love singing, growling, rapping, all that stuff, guttural stuff. What is it, do you think, about hearing music throughout your time being a kid that led you to this current point? Not now, not today, but at this point that you're talking about right now, where you're starting your band Decap, and its direction.
So
What were you thinking at this point in time that when you were starting your band?
so at that time, I had ideas, more like rhythmic ideas. I was thinking, um, I don't know if you would know, but like key changes. So I started thinking key changes.
Mm-hmm.
I was following the rules, and that's why my music sounded like a Treyu and all those bands.
Mm-hmm.
I was following the rules, and then I started having these ideas that I started listening to bands like Alice Cooper.
Ooh,
And
nice.
yeah, so you don't hear it on the albums, kind of, but you hear it in his live show. I went to a live show, and I heard him doing key changes.
Oh wait, you went to go watch Alice Cooper?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was like 2015,
Yeah.
2016.
Yeah.
It was when I was in that band. But I went to an Alice Cooper show, and I heard him doing key changes. And I was like, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to do key changes. And so then I started, like, I just had my ear open for it. I even heard it, like, one time, a Bon Jovi song. Was it Living in a Prayer? I think he does a key change, like, at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But, you hear it in the song, and then I started thinking, well, how can it be more dramatic? And then when I started listening to black metal, I started hearing all these key changes, and I was like, holy shit. That's kind of like what I'm like, but
So
it's not exactly what I like.
dude, I'm sorry to interrupt, but when you hear black metal, you hear key changes
Um,
between those three
yeah.
chords.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so let me explain.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
me explain. Okay, so if you know music, you're in the key of G,
Yeah.
major or minor,
Uh-huh.
and so if you're in the key of G, when you move up to A minor, B minor, and then C major, and D major, but if you play that same thing but make them all minor, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What it's doing is creating key changes, but you have the original,
Hmm.
So when I heard that, I was like, I love that. And I heard Alice Cooper do it,
Yeah.
and then on a record, I heard Bon Jovi do it one time, where he just like moved up like a note or
Right.
something.
Right. They walk up the cycle of fifths. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started doing, like, I was already doing that, but I was trying to figure out how to make it musical. And that's the reason why I was like, I can't do this with the band I was in. And the band that I was in, even with Six Bullet, I was like, I liked my music, but I was like, I kept feeling like I wanted to make the music that I make now. And then I met Brent. And Brent's like an all-around musician. He can play a little bit of drums. He can play bass, guitar, piano. And he can sing. He can scream like a mofo. And I was like, all right. And then we had a bass guitar at one time. His name is Alvin Martinez Jr.
Yeah.
And he was really good. And he understood like where I was coming from. So when a lot of the early stuff that I wrote with him. He was really good, but he got stage fright. We started playing bigger shows. We played with Archspire, kind of a bigger band, national band. But we opened for them in Phoenix, and the crowd was big, and he got really nervous, and after that, he quit the band. I was like, come on, man.
So wait, so right in the very beginnings of Decap, you guys got this huge opportunity to play in front of a ton of people, in front of a national band, or opening for a national band, and your bro got weak in the knees.
Yeah.
It happens. It happens. It's got to be. So how did you deal with it? You weren't afraid?
I'm always afraid, but I think of it differently. I feel like nervous, but I feel excited.
Like it's what you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I feel just really excited. Like I'll get nervous like the whole week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you know, when the time comes, I'm like, I feel the same things they're feeling, but I feel like it's excitement.
I don't know. I've been on stage one time, and my thing is I've never, when you're a teenager, I think everybody dreams of being a rock star. You imagine yourself, how the stage is going to look, how the sound, how the intro is, all that kind of shit, right? And
Yeah.
I used to sit in class and draw, like what the stage would look like and all kind of shit. But when it came right down to it, I don't know, I just never really cared about getting on stage. And I'm not saying like, oh, I'm better than you. No, I'm just saying like, some people want to make music and not get on stage, like more of a studio musician like me. And then there's guys like you who are brave enough to get the fuck out there and face face your demons. And I remember one time I was kind of bullied, dared to get on stage, right? And so I was like, all right, fuck it. And the reason why is because I had this guy. We were doing and this is all rap stuff, right? And back in the day, I was like, this guy had just signed. He was so deathly afraid of getting on stage, and I was like, dude, I don't even want to get on stage. If I get on stage, then you got to start performing, and touring, because I was building this whole thing around him, right? And he goes, all right. And so I said, fuck it, god damn it. And I went out and I got on stage, and I performed a song. Boom, flawless. It was fucking magnificent. It was fucking awesome. And I hated every second of it. but I showcased every point of it, and I know it was really good because of the way the audience was reacting and the way I was feeling. I just felt good in the moment. I love music and all that. But I hated every second of being on stage. I was like, I fucking hate this. You don't feel that. You feel the opposite of that. You feel excitement, like you're supposed to be there, right?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. Excitement. That's crazy. That's crazy. Do you ever just feel like
I am scared.
Yeah.
I am scared, but it's exciting.
Yeah.
All the times I've done it, I'm always scared. I get there, I'm nervous, and I'm just excited. I'm like, I can't wait to freaking get on stage.
Dang.
And I don't know. My first time I was on stage, I was so scared. I was shaking, and I felt like I was gonna vomit. And it was over here. They had a little beaver, and they put us up on stage. And at that time, we were a cover band. I think we played all the Metallica songs.
Wait, Decap or what band?
6 Bullet.
6 Bullet. Okay, you guys did all the Metallica songs?
Yeah, we did 4 Metallica songs, and at the end of it, I was so I was relieved, but I was standing there just trying to take it all in, everybody cheering, because we're at that time, probably like 14, 15.
No shit. Fucking hey,
And,
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to take it in, and you know, that's here in a little town.
Yeah.
And then when I went, and then you know, right at the beginning of the 2000s, I went to college in Santa Fe.
Over at IAIA?
No, I went to Santa Fe Community.
Oh, okay.
And my band followed me. We all moved to Santa Fe like in 2000. So I went to college over there, and then immediately just went to local shows and got to know the promoters and got my band in, and we started playing shows there. And at that time, there was kind of the internet around, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the late 1900s and the early 2000s.
sounds like we arrived on covered wagon. We're here and we got the internet.
Yeah, so there was no internet, you know.
Yeah.
So every local show was packed, man. Friday nights, local show packed. I've never seen like local shows because you know I'm from the Res, and all these shows were packed. Every show I went to, and there was bands fighting because you know they're fighting over money from the door, and I'm like, nowadays it's like, you know, what happened to all that, you know? And I feel like back then the bands were pretty good, but I feel like the bands now are even better, you know? Mm-hmm. Especially the bands from the Four Corners, the Res areas.
Yeah.
I trip out on them. I'm like, dang, these guys are way badass, yeah.
Dude, I can concur with that because I used to go to shows back in the day. I don't go anymore. I'm older. I'm really antisocial. I get irritated with people fucking talking about dumb shit. I get tired of fucking going in somewhere and somebody's mad dogging you. Like, dude, I just fucking walked in. At least give me 10 minutes to go fucking squeeze some girl's ass or some shit before you start eyeballing me. Some crazy shit, right? I'm not even doing nothing. I'm coming in I don't go to shows anymore. And but I will say that from early 2000s, let's say the year 2000, because I remember listening to when all of this didn't have a genre name, right? It was just like native metal, right? And back in the 90s, and because even in the 80s, I've talked to old guys, and they were like, yeah, this was Res metal back in the 80s and 70s. I don't think so, bro, because I used to I'm an old school metalhead, deathhead. Fucking death metal is always. I started jamming on Metallica in '86, but I've heard all kind of stuff before then. But it was Metallica that turned me on, like it does to most people. Like, what the fuck is this shit with the distortion and the fucking, you know? But listening to native metal bands coming out in the '90s, they were good, right? They were really good, and you were happy to hear them. But yeah, comparing it to nowadays bands, they can't even compare. Like the bands of the early 2000s, you cannot compare them to the technical prowess, the fucking fretboard gymnastics. One thing I will say that is most bands nowadays, and this is what I when I listen to bands as a vocalist, I always listen for vocals. If I'm just hearing somebody yelling and screaming, I don't care how good the drums, the bass, the rhythm, the fucking anything is. You're just yelling and screaming at the end of the day, and it's boring and annoying the shit out of me. What you guys have is actual vocals going on. So you like what's happening here is you got some yelling, and then you got a partition of gutturals, and then you got a breakdown of some soft syllabic rhythmic vocalizations, and I fucking love that shit. And with how this music sounds, like for example, there's a song you guys have. It's called "A Million to Nothing." It reminds me of, and I don't want to be insulting with this, but it reminds me of Behemoth. I don't think it's a Behemoth ripoff, but that's, you know, it's just reminiscent because it's slow, wicked, vile, rhythmic. Dude, everything about it is fucking distinct and beautiful, and I love it. And I guarantee, put you guys against a band from the early 2000s or the 90s, you people would fucking have their heads blown open. You're not ready for this, but your kids are gonna love it.
Yeah. Heck yeah. I listen to, because I put up shows too, so I go out and I listen to a lot of bands. I go to local shows, all the way, like Flagstaff, Gallup, Farmington,
Yeah.
Shiprock. For a while there, I was going to Mini Farms, Kayenta, Window Rock, and going to those local shows and hearing those bands there, and I was like blown away. I was like, man, these guys are just freaking ripping. And one band that really blew my mind was Unsheath. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
They sound familiar. I don't know if I have heard them. If they're just yelly kind of, then I will turn it off right away.
Yeah, they're not around anymore, but
okay.
When they blew my mind all the time, and I tried to bring them. We did a lot of shows with them in Farmington, Gallup, Santa Fe, and we brought them out here a couple of times to headline whatever festivals we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to go out and I hear the bands, and I'm like, and some of the bands, I hear them starting out, and I'm like, man, they got some good ideas, and then I'll hear them again like a couple of years later, and I'm like, holy shit, these guys just took off,
Who's your favorite band right now, other than you guys?
From the native scene?
Yeah, 100% native scene.
Yeah, I like Born of Winter.
Ooh.
Yeah, those guys, and then I like Unsheath.
Wait, but is Born of Winter still around though? I thought they broke up and.
Yeah, I think they're taking a break.
Yeah, a bunch of drama, some other stuff. I've heard some.
Yeah,
there's some wild stories from people, and I'm like, can I quote you on that? I'm like, no, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, I think they're taking a break, but that's my favorite. That was my favorite band.
Yeah, Born of Winter is fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Unsheath. Okay.
Yeah. And the newer bands that are coming up, I really like Flesh Weaver.
Flesh Weaver? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Let me look that up right now. Flesh Weaver?
They are freaking insane, man.
This is a native band.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, they got a native drummer. But I think they're from the Farmington area.
Okay, so it might be a white band, but or a non-native band, but they're called Flesh Weaver. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think their drummer's native.
Hold on one second.
But yeah, they're new and upcoming. They're pretty cool.
Hold on one second. I'm gonna play it. You're probably not gonna hear it. So I just want to hear it. Well, they're fucking heavy as fuck. I love that shit. Kind of reminds me of oh god, Aborted. Dang it. Hold on. And these guys too. No fucking website. What the fuck, people? Websites! I can't find any information about them. Okay. All right, cool. So go ahead.
I just know they have a Instagram that I follow.
Instagram. See, here's the problem. Here's the problem. I know everybody says, like this happened like 10, 15 years ago. People said, oh, websites are obsolete now because of social, right? Like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And for a brief moment, I believed that. And then I was like, wait a minute. What if that social media disappears? Like that last one did, or whatever, right? And especially now with the social credit scores and New World Order and the whole way the government is fucking changing things, and nowadays they're gonna start enacting it. I think it was December 16th they started this. You're gonna have to start putting your ID and your facial recognition and all this biometrics in order to access apps, and just to make sure you're not a child predator, all that kind of stuff, right? So if you have your own website, you can at least direct people to go to your website, and so they can say, okay, well, let me go fucking see Flesh Weaver. Huh, all right, I like Flesh Weaver. Pretty good, huh? You like them? Yeah, they're heavy. Right? And then share it, and listen, and buy, and purchase. Yeah, I don't see anything about these guys. All right, I'll keep looking them up. So who else you like?
There's those guys that are like memorable right out of the freaking gate. But
Okay.
there's a couple of younger bands that we played with over in Farmington that I thought had a really nice sound. I can't remember their name though.
It's all right. If you remember, let me know later, and I'll
Yeah.
reach out to them and see what's up. I'm always looking for new content to put on the website, to put in the magazine, because basically the website is the magazine, and we're just kind of tying it all together so that it's more organized, so that people can figure out, oh, during this month, this is who came out, this is who's on the cover, this is who's featured, that kind of thing. The So let's go back real quick. So you started your band Decap. You're going to school, and so what's going on around this time? What's the beginnings, the bubblings of Decap here?
Well, I had the band going when I was living in Santa Fe, and then I came back to the res. Tried to keep the band going, but I was having trouble with alcoholism and just trying to keep afloat. And then I kept that going up until like 2012, and then 2012 I sobered up. And when I sobered up, all the people I was practicing with, jamming with, trying to get the band going with, they all kind of went their own way because they kept drinking, but I didn't. So I figured, well, I got to do it myself. And then I was sober for almost a year, and then I jumped into this band. And, I never been a part of a band. I've always been the band leader, so at that moment I was part of a band. And I did that for like a year and a half.
Wait, you're talking about Decap?
No, that was like right before I made Decap.
What was this band?
Fatally Dying Within.
Fatally Dying Within. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I want to ask something real quick. So, as far, excuse me, I'm still getting over whatever I got. Getting over alcoholism is not easy. I'm drinking a beer right now, but how did you quit? Was it Christianity? Was it because the number one way I found that people, natives, I'm talking about natives, right? That people get off of alcoholism or drugs or whatever, or turn their lives around, is usually through Christianity, which is odd because we're always talking about decolonize, evil white man, right? All that shit, right? So was it Christianity? Was it traditional stuff, or was it just something? What was it? Something else? What was it? How did it happen?
Well, I was hitting the alcohol hard, and then what I started to realize was that majority of the time when I was jamming with my friends, we would play a couple of songs and start drinking, and then all we would do is talk about the last time we played on stage, and we talk about next time, next year, you know what I mean? Because, at that time there wasn't places to play, or I didn't know how to play in different places, and I only had one stage guaranteed one time a year. So then I was like, we were talking, well, next time we're going to kick more ass, next time we'll do this, next time we'll do that. And then there was a couple of times where I was sober, because I started not wanting to be drunk, and then I realized that we keep talking about the same old shit all the time, every freaking day.
Dude, doesn't that get fucking old, right?
Yeah. And then I decided I was gonna try to go back to school, like in 2012. I was like, well, I'm just sitting here drinking. All we do is talk about freaking, we're gonna play, we're gonna kick more ass next time, And I was like, we ain't doing shit. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna try to go back to school. And I went to school, and I was, at that time, probably like 31, 32. And so I realized everybody was younger. And then, so my music teacher was like, well, you know, you're going to be like the oldest person in the school, you know, going to school for music.
Dude,
and I already took music, you know what I mean?
dude, I totally feel that. I went to school. My my now wife, she kept telling me to go to school. I've always hated school, right? And she was, go to college, use your GI Bill. And I was like, all right, fuck it. I guess she kept hounding me, so I was like, all right, we'll go to college. I felt like an 80-year-old man. I was probably about your age, 32, 30, but between 30 and 35. I don't remember. And I just felt like the oldest guy there, and I was like, fuck, why do I feel like a fucking? I should be walking around with a walker or something.
yeah. Yeah. So after getting that news, you know, from the dean of the music department, he's kind of like, well, maybe you could go to school at another place, you know.
What?
And what they were really interested in me, they wanted me to be a computer tech because I had all these computer classes and, you know, all that stuff under my belt. So they're like, no, we really want you to come to school over here for computers, and you can take guitar like at the community college. And I was like, no, I want to take guitar here, music here, and I'll take computers at the community college. But they didn't go for it though.
So you were an IT guy?
Yeah. So I didn't want to go to school for computers.
Yeah.
Because I've already done that.
Yeah.
I mean, I already, you know, got all my schooling done.
For IT, right?
Yeah, for IT.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do music.
Dude, I'm telling you, you made the right choice. Now, I don't know what you do financially, but financially, IT would have been the route to go. But soul, you know, the soul thing,
Yeah.
that music is the right way to go. But I mean, dang, you had said it. I can just see you at the crux. You're like, fuck. That way, I'm gonna be bored to death for the rest of my life. But there's a steady paycheck. To the right path over here, I got music, and I feel fulfilled. I might not always have food to eat. How did you come up with that decision? Like, that's a hard decision to make.
Yeah, well, I just stepped away from that because I was like, you know, and that was in Denver, and I was driving back to New Mexico, and it was right during my birthday, so I was like, I bought all this alcohol. I was supposed to have a big old party with all my friends, cousins, family, and coming back, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know, going through my mind, you know, just thinking about all this talking that we do, and we never do anything, and then that's when I decided I don't want to freaking talk anymore. I want to do it. And then I realized that the alcohol was keeping me talking, and if I feel like if I got rid of that alcohol, you know, because I felt I wasted a lot of time partying and talking with my friends when I should have been, you know, trying to go forward. And when I did that, and then I just got rid of all my alcohol right there beside the road, spilled it. I don't know, I think I had 4 fits. Just let it go, and I had maybe 2 30-packs. And then I had my dark beers that I just let all of that. I spilled all of it beside the road, and I was like, I ain't drinking no more. And I was like, I gotta do this music.
So that was it. It was music. It wasn't spirituality. It wasn't native spirituality. It wasn't Christian spirituality. It wasn't nothing. It was just the spirituality of music.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I just, I haven't drank since that 2012 on my birthday. Right before my birthday.
Bro, hold the fuck up. Because I've quit drinking numerous times. I've quit chewing numerous times. I've quit cussing numerous times. And I've quit being an asshole numerous times. And I've only heard of one other dude, my dad, who quit. I guess he used to smoke, and he used to drink, right? And I guess when he was younger, he used to smoke. And he said, nah, I'm done. And I guess he was done. And I was like, eh. And then I remember seeing my dad. He would drink wine. You know, I never thought it was a problem, but I'm a kid, right? A long time ago. And apparently he used to drink all the time. I don't fucking know. right? And
Yeah.
but apparently, because I remember at one point in time, I was like, I noticed that he wasn't drinking. I didn't see his wine, those things of wine, and
Yeah.
um, and I was like, Dad, uh, where's your wine at? He goes, oh, I quit drinking like 25 years ago. 25 years ago? Where the fuck was I at? I didn't say that to him, but I was thinking that, right? So, like I remember, he just quit. He just said, and I remember asking him, how did you just quit? And he said, just gotta make up your mind. And it's done. That's what you did.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking badass. You're gonna go places in life. I fucking love it.
Yeah, I mean, we play at bars and all this, and I'm around it all the time, but it doesn't bother me. I don't even want to drink.
I always wonder about that, bro, because I've spoken to so many bands over the years. 25, 26 years of interviewing bands over the years in one variety over another. I used to go to bars, like the local dives and stuff, and between Phoenix and everywhere and down here, and interview the native bands playing, and they were always fucking drunk, and I would always wonder, like, fuck, how can you not be? If you're trying to stay sober, how can you stay sober when you're playing at a bar? But you gotta play at a bar because that's where the music's at. That's where the stage is at. So that's gotta be fucking tough. How do you do it?
Well, I don't even feel it. Like I feel all the guys. Like we play at a bar. Like some of the guys I jam with, they don't drink either. But like I can't say they're alcohol free because they'll take a couple. Like they'll drink a beer.
Yeah.
But I was like, I can't even do that, man. I can't drink a beer because I'll just start right up again. So I don't want it. I don't crave it. And I enjoy it. Like all the people, if they're partying and drinking at a bar, and they're all having fun, I'm behind them 100%. I'm like, I'm not there to stop anybody's party.
Dude, I'm total opposite. If I'm sober and you're drunk and you're having a blast, I don't fucking like you. Get away from me. Plus, you're slurring everything, so I'm already irritated with you. I'm like, I don't fucking understand what the hell you're talking about. Dang, I commend that. So let's get back on track here. I just find it interesting, like when you were telling your story about the origin story here of your trajectory through getting to Decap. The fact that you said that you quit drinking, and for a guy who has been, I don't want to say fighting alcoholism, but drink a lot, right? And I'll quit for 3-4 months, a year, and then go back to drinking again. I'm like, I'm just gonna drink this weekend, right? And then you know how that goes. So I'm always curious about that alcoholic portion of it because as a native, I'm always looking at stuff, historical context to things and present context to things, right? I used to believe in a lot of nonsense that was disseminated to me. And so I've changed a lot of my mentality the more I've looked at facts as opposed to feelings when it comes to indigenous people and alcohol. Because native people have always had alcohol. You know how we're always told, oh, natives never had alcohol, that's why they can't process it. No, we've always had alcohol. Like for Dulce, I know for a fact, I got drunk as fuck off of fucking Patchy wine, or Patchy beer up there one year. I was a firefighter and I went up to, God, was it Casta? Is it called Casta? Yeah. I went up there to Casta, and it was in the 90s, and the old ladies were the ones. They were like, there was a big pile of potatoes I was standing next to because I didn't know what I was invited and I was hanging out, And then the old lady came over to me and she was like, hey, don't just stand there, help peel potatoes. So I turned around and she handed me a potato peeler. I turned around and I was like, holy shit, there was a big old pile of potatoes behind me. So I started peeling potatoes. And then she goes, you thirsty? I was like, yeah. She said, you want some patchy beer? And I was like, I forgot what you guys call it. What do you guys call it?
We call it gushbai or T-swing.
T-swin. Yep, T-swin. She said, you want some T-swin? I was like, yeah, T-swin. I don't know. And she brought over a big gulp cup. And I saw her scoop it out of this big old barrel. And I was like, what the fuck is that shit? And it had like pulp and stuff in it. And I was like, oh, it's got to be juice. And so she stood around, her and all the old ladies stood around. And they were like, swig it. I took a fucking sip. I was like, oh, what the hell is this? So when people tell me that natives don't know how to process alcohol, that's not true. We've always had alcohol, right? It's the difference is when the Spaniards came here. So I'm half Spanish and half Navajo. So when the Spaniards came here, they brought distilled alcohol. They distilled the tequila that the what we now call Mexicans, quote unquote Mexicans, were drinking, right? And they distilled the different types of brew that they encountered as they came across the Americas. And along the way, they created their own or brought their own alcohols and they distilled them. And a lot of those times, what happens when you distill the alcohol is it changes the alcohol content. And so your body disperses it unevenly, right? And so when it comes to alcoholism, I'm always curious about how somebody's, especially a native, is coming out of it. Because when it comes to distilled alcohol, we seem to have a problem with distilled alcohol. And it's a big problem, especially with bands, because I've been interviewing bands for quite a while, and I've seen some badass bands that I was like, oh my god, these guys are gonna be fucking all over the place. They're gonna be on everywhere. They're gonna be on every magazine. They're gonna be on, and they don't. And then a couple years later, you see them, and they're at a laundromat, and one of the guys is standing there, and he's all like, "Hey, bro, can I have like some change?" Whoa, aren't you the vocalist of that one band? Yeah. So kudos to you on that. Let's get back to Decap and creation of Decap and getting forward with that.
Yeah, so when I quit, everybody else quit. Like all my friends,
Yeah.
Family members. I think I was keeping everybody going when I stopped, and then everybody kind of stopped around me.
Oh, nice.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
Because like I remember I was telling you, like a couple of my band members, they'll drink still, but they don't drink like how we used to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we started Decap, and then we started practicing. I would say maybe 5 times a week, a day off, and we did that for
Very
probably
seriously.
like three years. Just hitting it every day. And then writing songs, but never really like recording big. We were just doing demos. And I think one demo, Against All Odds, recorded at home in my kitchen and put that out as an album. And then, but we kept making music, kept touring and trying to learn more about being on the road, dealing with promoters and dealing with venues, and trying to learn more about all that, the music business. And that's where we were at, like right when COVID came. We had a good momentum going. And then when COVID came, it just stopped everything. And I think that's where we had a lot of money saved for tours. I think we had about $5,000, and I was breaking that up into like, well, we're gonna do a summer tour. I mean, a spring tour and a fall tour and a winter tour. But COVID came, so I was sitting on this money that we built up, you know, doing shows, selling merch, and then so I figured, well, you know, we have this cash, we could go to a recording studio. So we went to the studio, and then right then, one of my friends that I used to play in Six Bullet with, he passed away from he had cirrhosis. But his was different. Like he tried to suicide, and he changed his mind at the last minute. And he got to the hospital, and they pumped his stomach, and they saved his life, but his liver was shot. So it got to him like right when COVID came, and it ended up taking him out. So we had all these, and you know, we were all separated. I was home alone, and my singer was home alone, and you know, everybody's out there, and we, you know, we're on lockdown. We can't come and hang out. So I start writing all these songs, and then we get a chance, like year 2, 2022. Or at the end of 2021, when lockdown, we're no longer on lockdown, but we still got to keep our distance. And I find Rio Grande Studios in Albuquerque with the producer. So I talked to the producer, and he tells me, well, how many songs you got? And I was like, well, I have a bunch of songs, but you know, I want to record these songs because they have more meaning at the moment. So he says, okay, come in and we'll start recording. And so we started recording the Raven album. And that whole album, if you can listen to all the Raven songs, it's all about dealing with this, you know, this heartache, heartbreak, losing a bro, somebody that you spend a lot of time with on the road and recording and doing shows. And so we wrote all that music for him, and then we got to record it, and it really came out good, working with the producer. But at the time, I didn't have a steady drummer, so I was juggling drummers. I probably had like 3 drummers.
So real quick, hold on. So the Raven, you're calling it an album, but how many songs did it have on it?
I would have to count it. I think there's like 9 or 10. There's 9 songs.
I don't see that anywhere.
Yeah, you're not going to see it, because when I went to the studio and I was talking to the producer, I was going to release an album. And he told me that is not a good idea. I would not release an album. And I was like, but I want to, you know, it's my music, and all these songs belong together. And he says, well, you can stretch this out. He's like, you can put out a single, and then you can wait a couple months and put out another single until, you know, you record all your songs, and you'll just constantly be putting out singles. It'll always be new. People will always be like, hey, they got a new song out, you know. So I was like, I don't trust it, you know. I was like, I don't know. I had to think about it for a while, and had a meeting with Brent, and Brent goes, well, he's probably been in the music business longer. I mean, he works for Sony, you know what I mean? And he's a producer, and he's given us all this advice, you know, and he's worked with all these bands. So I'm like, well, and, you know, at the time, I think he worked with, he did some backing tracks for, like, Korn.
Mm-hmm.
So when he was talking about that guy, one of the members anyway, and he was saying that he had all these songs and he's just gonna release singles. So I was like, well, if he's doing it that way, shit, I'll do it that way too then. So
Makes sense.
We started just releasing singles. So we have a whole Raven album, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna make these into an album. And he's like, you can do whatever you want later on, you know, but for now we're just gonna release singles. So I was releasing singles, and those singles keep coming. After we finished that recording thing, we took a break for a little bit, and then we recorded another album called Three Horsemen, and we recorded all those songs and we released them. And they just recently, this summer was like, I think one of the last songs we released off of that album, and that one has 8 songs on it, I think. But you're not gonna find the album unless you go to a show and we have them in stock as CDs.
So you do have them in.
Yeah, we have them, but we don't have them in stock. So. So I just carry. I had a bunch of CDs for a long time, and I still do in my storage. And it's the Against All Odds demo recordings that I did, and I put that out, and that's what we were selling. But I gotta make these other ones, like the Raven album and the Three Horsemen album.
So are you selling them as CDs and as albums?
Not yet, because I haven't had a request until you requested it.
Sorry.
It's crazy.
I'm
it's
sorry.
Crazy. Because everybody's like, are you on Spotify or iTunes, and they'll buy the songs they like,
Yeah.
And I haven't heard anyone want to buy the whole CD. Like Brent, he'll download all the songs in the way they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And he'll listen to all of them like that. But other than him and me doing that, I didn't think anybody else really cared about it until you were talking about it, and I was like, I got to make these CDs and release them.
You mean the other day when we were talking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So anybody listening to this, just we were talking the other day, and we spoke briefly for a couple minutes or something.
Yeah.
But I'm, as a music maker, right? I'm not in a band. I've been trying to form a band for a number of years, and I just can't get it going for whatever fucking reason. But I'm a vocalist, and I make music, and I do a variety of things. One of the things that I just started recently was a band called the Glonnies, and it's a cartoon band, right? And it's just I hand draw all the animation and everything, and I do all the vocals, all the music and everything, and I do another thing called Gooder Kind, right? And so that one is like rap, metal, punk, a mixture of stuff. And over the tenure of my life, I've loved and hated records. I've loved and hated CDs, and then when like downloads came, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Doesn't skip when I drive down the road, and all that kind of stuff, right? And then,
Yeah.
but now we're at the point where everything's a subscription, and it's that saying, you will own nothing and you will be happy. I don't want to own nothing. I want to own something. I want to own my CD, or I want to own my record, or my tangible shirt that I can touch, or things like that. And the same thing with music, because especially being native, and I've seen a multitude of bands come and go, bands that just fucking blew my fucking lid, and I'm like, fuck yeah. And then a couple years later, they're gone, and I'm like, where's that band? And they're like, oh, they fucking disappeared. Drinking, yeah. Drugs, yeah. All that kind of shit, right? And I wish I would have been able to have something of theirs, right? And I've bought stuff over the years, and I have it sitting here in crates and whatever, but I'm like, oh, fuck, I wish I would have got an autograph on that. Because you can't get an autograph on an MP3. You can get an autograph on a CD, right? You can get an autograph on a shirt, on some shorts, some fucking, something,
Yeah.
But you can't autograph air, and that's basically what the fuck Spotify and everybody else is selling. Plus, they rip us all off. They say, "Oh, Decap, you're not getting the threshold, so we're just gonna give whatever money you earned to Drake and Taylor Swift and all these other assholes," right? So, and as an artist, I don't like that, so I took most of my music off. I keep taking music off all the time, but until one day I can get all my music off of them, because why make music if we're just gonna get ripped off? So so are you going to? Here's an idea that I've been pushing for a number of years, and I would like to see it become fruition. This would take the place of CDs, but I think it would be done in a cool way that which I have never seen before. And I got this idea when I was looking at a toy. You ever seen those toys? Those God, what are they called? The one with the big heads, the pops.
The bobbleheads.
Yeah, not the pop. They're not exactly bobbleheads, but they're like pops. I think they're called pops. Or,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Those like figurine toys. So what it is, they're encapsulated in this plastic case that you can see into. You can see the toy, and then there's a cardboard billboard or whatever behind it, right? So you can see all the benefits of buying this toy and all that kind of stuff, right? You have the logo, it looks real cool and everything, and then like the little hole on the top where you slides onto the little rack, like when you're in the store and it's like on that rack, you got to take it off the rack. It's through that little hole.
Yeah.
And then you take it off and you flip it over and it has all the additional information about the toy, right?
Uh-huh.
So I was thinking, okay, CDs will probably never make a comeback, right? But we do still have USB ports. I mean, my vehicle is a Jeep Gladiator. There is no spot for a memory card, which I find absurd. But there is a USB port, right? So, what if you sold music in a USB thumb drive, right? And you pop and I know this is just money, right? I always dream like I'm made out of money or some shit. So you put all your album, whatever your album is, with the music videos. It has to have a bunch of music videos, behind the scene footage, never seen before interviews, some cool shit, just like a bunch of cool shit you want to see, right? And then plus the songs on the album, right? And then so you pop this all on the thumb drive, and then it's inside that little kind of like that toy encapsulated plastic that you can see through, and then it has the album cover. So on the top section of it has the album cover, and when you open it up, you can actually open up a booklet, right? So you can see like the way it used to feel when you bought an album, like holy fuck, there's artwork, right? You can read stuff, and then you just take the thumb drive, and then you stick it in your thumb drive. You can leave it sitting there, because most vehicles nowadays you can pop it into a thumb drive and just leave it sitting there, and you can jam on your music. Just an idea, because I don't think CDs are coming back unless you're collecting it for home. And I have CDs and DVD drives in my house, that like most people. But I go to some people, a lot of people's houses, and I'm like, "Hey, where's your DVD player?" DVD player, sure.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's a good idea. And we will get that made as soon as possible.
Well, when you guys do hit me up, I always tell people this. Like, hey, hit me up. When you got the new stuff, hit me up. If you post some stuff up arbitrarily, I'm not following everybody all the time. I'm always, like, looking around. I'm always trying to find new bands and new interviews and whatever. So hit me up directly and say, hey, we have this ready to go. Do you want it? And I'll say, fuck yeah, right? And I'll buy it from you. Because I know how hard it is as an indie artist to try to make a living. I don't want you to send me nothing for free. I will buy it from you. All you gotta do is ship it to me, or I can meet you somewhere, and
Hell yeah.
Because you guys are in Dulce, I'm in Farmington, so it's not that far of a drive. I fucking love Dulce, by the way. Anyway, so
yeah, and we love Farmington.
Yeah.
Yeah. where we go for everything.
So, real quick, so you guys are your CDs. You gonna start manufacturing CDs or not?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was that's on the list. Because at the merch table, I was just going by like what people requesting, you know, T-shirts, stickers, patches. The last thing I purchased was patches. I got black and white Decapitation patches. And then now, you know, CDs and the MP3s or the flash drives.
Well, before you manufacture anything, you should do a poll, because that could be way off. You know what I mean? Yeah. Do a poll. Ask people what the fuck they would like. Would you like a USB drive? Would you like? And I'll tell you what. I'll up you one on that. I will send you a, like a. I'll see if I'll pull off like an image of like a toy or something, and I'll see if I can put it in Photoshop and do some fucking rigamaroos to it. Kind of give an idea of what the fuck I'm talking about. That way, if you ever go that route, you can say, "Oh, that's the fucking idea. That's the jam right there. I'm gonna do that." Because you never know. People might be like, "Fuck a USB." You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe people love being locked into subscriptions to shit they never owned. I don't know. I don't know about you. I like to own some shit. If I'm paying fucking a bunch of money for something, I want to be able to look at it at the end of the day and be able to say, "Yeah, I bought that." You know?
Yeah.
So CDs, merchandise, and all kind of stuff you guys always have at your shows. And then, since you guys started, how has the reception been? Because I'm really curious about the music, like especially like what you were talking about earlier, Raven. It came about 3 years ago. It was really good production. Sounds amazing. Um, I love the vocals and the guitar on that. I don't know. You guys have a really diverse style, and I'm a vocalist, so I'm always targeting on the vocalist. What's the songs? What's that song about?
That song is about it's about a friend passing, you know, dying.
So that's the one that's about your bro dying.
Well, I mean, the whole Decapitation of a New Day, you know, that was about another friend. Remember
Right.
that song? You're like from back in the '90s.
Yeah.
But this was like my recent friend who passed away.
The one you were telling me about a little bit earlier, the one that had all the stuff going on.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that is that album named after that song, or so that song
It's
is called.
Raven.
So there's a song
The
called
song-
Raven. Is the album
Yeah.
called Raven as well?
Yes.
Okay. And what is the entire album about? Since I can't see it or listen to it.
The entire album is about just us as a band dealing with his passing.
Okay.
A lot of those songs I wrote with him, like because I was going to visit him.
Oh,
and, you know,
okay.
Yeah. So what was happening was I was visiting him during COVID, you know, with my mask and everything, and he was hanging in there, but he was having to go to like the hospital for dialysis and blood transfusions because his liver was failing him. And then he got put on the list for transplant, and then the next day he died. So it's kind of like crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we wrote that song. I had the riff, right? Like I wrote him the riff, and I would go and play it for him. And he's like, "I really like that riff. Sounds cool." But when he passed, and then that's when I wrote the lyrics, you know, kind of. And then Raven, in our way, the Hickory Apache way. Well, the group that I come from, because there's a mass bunch of Apaches, and they all have different things that they do. But in our way, they say, you know, there's a magpie, and you have to kind of like answer for all the bad things you've done in your life. So it's kind of like us saying, you know, instead of saying the magpie, I thought the raven was just cooler. And so it's like, we're kind of asking Raven, you know, we know our friend tried to commit suicide, but take it easy on him, you know, let him go to his family or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So if you listen to that song, Raven, that's what we're saying.
Mm. Dang.
We're saying, give him a break, you know.
Yeah.
It's a long, cold, hard day. Let him by, you know. Kind of a little bit of prayer for him. And a lot of those songs are like that. Those songs.
Off of that album, The Raven?
Yeah, Raven
okay.
album.
Okay.
It's all about that.
What's the other album about? The Three Horsemen.
The Three Horsemen was so I had these songs before, well, not all of the songs, but I had most of those songs ready to go, and that's what I was going to go to the studio with. But my friend passed away, and I wrote all these other songs, and I was like, I got to get these songs out of the way because I didn't want to lose those songs, you know, those new ones that I wrote. So I put that all out on Raven, and then after that was done, and then I was like, okay, now I can get into my songs. My other songs that I was working on before all that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we started going into the studio and recording those songs and getting that all out. And then releasing it the same way because I like that idea of releasing a song like every 2 months, you know what I mean? I feel like, well, I'm always releasing something. It's cool.
As a single, you mean?
Yeah, as a single.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
yeah, because as an artist, right? Like, because I know I got guitars hanging right here on my wall, and like I come in here on weekends a lot of time to de-stress, and I jam out, and I put on my headphones, and I'll yell out some stuff or play some chords or whatever. And sometimes it might not make sense. It'll have partial songs, or I have a lot of files labeled untitled, right? And like untitled punk songs, untitled country songs, untitled death metal, untitled whatever, right? And I'll come in here and then I'll be like, all right, let me click on this, and I'll click through some songs or album or files, and I'll find something, and I'll be like, oh, let me work on that one. That fucking sounds badass. I didn't even know I fucking played that. I played that. And then you go and you mess around with it. You might not even finish it that time, but you play with it that night or that day or whatever, or for the next few days or for the next couple weeks. But you're right, 2 months is a really good time for like a song to come to fruition, like the idea of it, the and to be able to say, oh, here is a song, because sometimes you can throw out some shit. I've thrown out a lot of stuff, like with my band, the Glonnies. A lot of that stuff is 3-chord death metal, grind crust stuff, or like punker stuff, where it's just like three-chord stuff, right? And I'm yelling out, Glonnies, fucking Glonnies, Glonnies, and I'm just yelling shit. And I got just a fast pop, 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 pop on the bass, on the drums. Doesn't need anything else other than it. But the stuff you guys play, with the breakdowns, the changes, I'm hearing a couple bridges at a time, like different times. I'm hearing it's just beautifully crafted music. A lot of live stuff. And I'm wondering what is the crowd like when you guys go to these shows?
When the crowd is big, I mean, they're getting into it from what I see on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And when the crowd is pumping, I'm pumping too, man.
Excuse me.
If they're feeling it, I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
If they go harder, we go harder, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you noticed the difference between the Raven and the Three Horsemen? Because the Three Horsemen is a project that you really, really wanted to work on. You were working on before, but you got sidetracked and you started working on the Raven, and then you went back to working on the Three Horsemen. So the Three Horsemen, you have songs on there. What are some songs that you're the most proud of on the Three Horsemen?
There's a song called No Tomorrow. my favorite song, and there's a song called Sinner's Halo, and then another song, Hell Into the Night.
And these are on, they're not on YouTube, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they are.
I don't see them. I'm on your, well, I'm on Rob Pierce. Should I be on?
You probably have to type in Decapitation
Okay.
of New Day and go from there. I use Spotify, so when I go to Spotify, it's all there.
Dude, I try not to use Spotify. I'm fucking tired of those people ripping off artists. I can't I can't feel good. I can't feel good. I'm like, if I'm jamming on Decap and if I'm working outside, I'll tell you, if I'm gonna be jamming on Decap and I'm working outside and I got a nail gun on my hand and I would just feel like I'm giving money to somebody else other than Decap. Every song that I play from these guys should go into their pockets. As an artist, that's how I feel. Every song, if somebody's playing my music, and nobody plays my music, but if somebody plays my music, I want that song. I don't care if it's a fucking penny. You pay me my goddamn penny. Don't fucking keep it telling me I didn't reach a cap. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I just figure, fuck it. If they're just gonna rob people, I'm not gonna help them.
Yep. Yeah, so those are a couple of my favorite songs.
You guys don't have any real music videos though, huh?
We have no music videos.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning of 2023, I was working with a videographer, and we were gonna make a video for Raven. So we started working on a deal, and then every week, as we were getting closer to shooting time, he was raising the price on me. And it got to the point where his ideas, he was like, no, let's not do my ideas. He's like, let's, he wanted to travel. And I was like, when we first spoke about stuff, we were going to go to, his idea was go, to the desert, and we were going to do this thing. And that's what we agreed on. And then after a while, he wanted to travel, and then he started giving me the price tag for all that. And I was like, well, can't we just go with the original idea, because, I save up my cash, and I can't pay for him to travel. And he's like, I got to bring 4 people. And I was like, I can't cover that, because I got to cover myself to travel too if we're going to travel. And I'm like, I can't do it. So he told me when we're ready, to hit him up. And I was like, I can't if you keep changing the price on me, you know what I mean? So I wish I had more funding for these types of things, for videos.
I got an option for you.
Yeah, well, see, we were going to go a DIY way. That's the way we're headed now.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I just can't get the guys together.
Oh, the band?
Yeah, because it's like everybody's got something going on with the holidays and, that kind of thing.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you guys need help with video editing, production, shooting, etc., I won't charge. I love seeing shit like this. Since the early fucking 2000s, I've been going to all these different bands saying, hey, where's your music video? Hey, and people have been like, oh, I'm working on it, we're thinking about it, we're talking about it. And I'm like, fuck this. And I got tired of waiting on people to do music videos. I started making my own music videos. I started this thing called Res TV All Access Weekend, trying to make it like this MTV thing. And then when I would go out and push my music, I just said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going all out. Balls out on this fucking motherfucker. I bought a big-ass flat-screen TV, got these big, massive, gigantic, oversized speakers. And when I made my music videos, they were very indie. but I made sure to put logos on them. I put these floating logos, lower thirds, upper third, and just spinning around. I made these 3D graphics, and I remember people would come up all the time. Oh my God, are you famous? And I would get autographs. I get girls kissing me on the cheek, and people just fucking gobbling up CDs. I outsold every fucking rapper that was fucking around there. I don't give a fuck if you rap the Neville or not. This Mexican look motherfucker was outselling everybody, and so my thing is, if you can make music videos and put them on a big ass flat screen, and your presentation is awesome, and it looks like you're just laying your dick on the table and you're not fucking kind of shying away, I think you can sell a lot more merch, and especially if you have music videos, because you can play even if you don't even have the audio on. Because let's say you're in a venue where they like, hey, you gotta leave the audio off. Let your music video play. People will say, "Is that you?" Yeah. Fucking, we buy 2 shirts, right? I will help you guys if you want. Design your stuff. I do animation, 3D animation, 2D animation. I don't do so much 3D animation lately because fucking software is changing so much, and I just get irritated with updating everything all the time. So I do a lot of 2D animation lately. If you go and see any of the music videos that I have over at Res Metal magazine on the YouTube channel, those are things that I've drawn and put together. I just threw those things together. Those aren't even things I've spent any time on. And the same thing with I don't know. There's a bunch of videos on there. And Tito from Shiprock, the YouTube channel, you'll see a bunch of music videos and other stuff. But I've been animated music videos for 20 something years. But green screen, even if you don't go with me, I would encourage you, go green screen. Everybody wants to do a res scene. Ugh, been seeing it since the early 2000s. Do a res scene, bro. Res scene. Everybody does a res scene. If you're gonna, I would encourage you, if you can do a res scene, do a green screen res scene. Shoot your whole song on, or the majority of it on green screen or blue screen, and it's not even that hard to do. And shoot it from 3 different angles. That's all you got to do. Left, right, and front. That's it. You can do a top view above the drums just to get a different perspective, or behind the drums. But and then you can put anything you want on that green screen, so you don't have to travel. You don't have to spend money going across the country to do something. You can have somebody, if you want to get a scene that's in South Dakota, you can say, "Hey, Billy Bob." And Billy Bob lives in South Dakota, right? Say, "Hey, do me a favor. I want you to take your fucking iPhone, turn it landscape view, and I want you to shoot this area for me. Remember that place where you were partying that one time? Oh, yeah, do that for me. But I want this, boom, boom, boom." And I guarantee you people will do it. And then say, "Hey, look, I'll put your name in the credits," right? And people will send that out to you. There's no need for somebody to rob you blind or fucking jack you for money that you don't have, even if you had the money, right? Fuck them. If people are trying to fucking rob you, that's why I fucking have a stance against Spotify, because I'm like, fuck them, right? So if you need help shooting music videos, because real music videos are the distinction between like what looks like a professional band and what looks like a band that is just there. And I want to see music videos from you guys. You guys have a distinct sound. I want to see it. I think the world wants. If I want to see it, the world must want to see it. You guys got a fucking really good following, it looks like.
Sounds good, man. It would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. But hey, is there anything else that I should know? Anything else that the audience should know about what you guys have coming up? Any albums or any songs, singles? What's up?
Yeah, we have 6 new songs. We're hitting the studio in March of 2026. So we'll be starting a new album. And then I'll get all the other albums pressed so we could sell it. And I'll definitely hit you up and when we get them.
Awesome. Okay.
And we usually do a 2-week tour in the springtime and a 2-week tour in the fall time.
Okay.
So, but the guy that I do tours with, he just recently had a baby, so he's not booking shows right now. So.
Gotcha.
But as soon as he gets comfortable, we'll start working again.
Okay.
But we usually, summers, we don't do no tours because we just play shows around Four Corners area.
So you guys play at the Mod in Shiprock, and then in Farmington, and then in Dulce?
Yep, Durango, Albuquerque, Santa Fe.
Oh, okay.
Gallup, Phoenix, Flagstaff.
Excuse me.
Salt Lake. I consider that like regional.
Okay, because I was gonna say, shit, you're going really far out for the Four Corners.
And then when we do our tours, we try to go LA and Dallas, Texas.
Oh, dang. Okay. So, yeah, didn't I see something of you guys at the Whiskey A Go-Go?
Yeah. Yeah, we've played there 3 times.
Fucking cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we were freaking awesome.
It's like, it's got to be like a check the box off, right?
Yep.
If CBGB's was around, can you imagine that? Being able to say I played at CBGB's?
Yeah, I know, right?
Fuck.
And yeah, we got a lot of opportunities on the West Coast. Not so many going east, but we want to go east. Well, I think I'm the only one who wants to go east. Mm-hmm. But the rest of my band, they like Phoenix and LA and Las Vegas, Nevada. They feel more welcome there because when we go there, promoters are like, hey, here's a list of shows. Which ones do you guys want to play? And I was like, we're only out here for a couple of days. If I could, I'd take all those shows,
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's what's going on.
All right. Well, I'm going to test out this magazine for a while, and I don't know when I'm going to put out an actual printed issue of this. I just learned from past mistakes. It was a lot of work and a lot of money putting out printed issues, getting them distributed into stores, and those things don't really exist anymore, so there's no really need for that stuff. And everything likes immediate information now. So I've been playing with the idea of releasing an issue a week. Do I do an issue every 2 weeks? Do I do an issue every month? And over the course of a year, do I release one that's printed every quarter, which means every 3 months, or do I just do it once a year, like a recap for the year, kind of in a thick yearbook kind of style, badass, res metal, a year look back or whatever, But regardless, we're here. I don't know how many eyeballs we're gonna get on us. That I'm not really doing much promotion for this. I just kind of do this because I'm selfish and I love res metal. But if you guys can tell your buddies about us and say, hey, I don't know, whatever the fuck you guys tell people, right? But use us. Send us your music. Send us your stuff. I don't have an upload section yet on the website, but I'm going to install one sometime probably this week. I had one up. I took it off. I didn't like it. It was causing problems on with the upload. So I gotta set up something so where people can upload stuff. Because I also don't like sending people to Facebook. I'm against government censorship and spying on me and all kind of shit. I sound like an old crazy man, but it is what it is. If people send stuff, I'd like it for it to be private, and I want them to know that their information is not being sold, which I never do. Awesome. Hey, Rob, I appreciate your time today, hanging out. We've discussed a lot of subjects. Hopefully anybody listening to this got to know this band a little bit better. Hopefully I didn't waste your time. Hopefully I gave you some information. If not, let me know in the comments or wherever and say, Tito, you fucked up. What are you rambling on for? Let the guy talk more. Or, hey, guy that you're talking, talk more. Whatever the fuck it is, let me know, and I'll be able to pass it on, or I will be able to adjust and maneuver myself. But I'm talking to Rob Pierce from Decapitation of a New Day. Hey, can you say it? Do you say it? How do you say it on stage?
I say we're decapitation of a new fucking day.
And there you go, guys. Hey, Rob, I appreciate it, man. You have a great night. Everybody else, Hakwone! Everywhere I look, I'm looking in the mirror. Sons of bitches on every corner, past that everywhere. I ain't better, no one's better. But god damn it, bro, can you go anywhere but here? Get a drum, get a fight, Glades, Glades. Everywhere I go, everywhere I look, Glades, Glades. Get a drum, get a fight, fucking Glades. Get a drum, get a fight, Glades, Glades. Everywhere I go, everywhere I look, Glades, Glades. Hey, kid, hey, bro, hey, 6 pesos.